I hope you guys are having fun at Holly's watch party. Sorry, we had a whole bunch of, oh, Martha's right here. We had a whole bunch, we have family in this whole week, and so things have been absolutely crazy here in our house. We've had my nieces with us. Their ages 8 and 10. And I just have to say, they are totally impressing their parents with all their, as they put it, crabication. Yeah, I feel like that. Love wins. So they've been getting their crabication. Um, age or pick a name. Everyone's got names that are like around our family. Um, Aubrey has basically told her parents everything from how hermit crabs breed, why they have like no holes in their shells, where they live. This is great. I saw that question, Janie. Right now, we have so many hermit crabs out. So hopefully they all stay around. So Janie's going to come visit me next Friday. We are so excited to meet her and see her for real. There have been a lot of hermit crabs out. If you guys have seen, yeah, going on a crabication. Seriously, that would be funny. So she'll be down, and hopefully we'll see. There'll be all sorts of hermit crabs here, Janie. So I think you'll be happy. I can't wait to meet you. That'll be exciting. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, make your way down here. Come visit. Absolutely. So do you guys have any questions from the presentation? So here we go. For somebody visiting Florida in the area, what are the best places to see wild hermit crabs without needing a boat or other gear? That's kind of a great question. So obviously I have them here at our house. And other people really find them in their areas, like where they live. So I have some some of the remote places, yes, you can get to, but you really gotta kind of walk the paths and the trails. I will say that to more see them, because I know a lot of our movies and TVs and stuff like that. I mean, obviously with Sean, a lot of them are more along the shoreline because there's more of a beach that has shells that wash ashore. But our guys like to come inland. Honestly, I can go walk around a ocean front or something along that line, and they're not there. They kind of like to come inland and more look. So, I mean, if you're ever here in the Keys, you can also walk to, there's a couple parks down here where you can walk around and find them, because they like to hide the hammocks. The biggest hermie we've seen, oh gosh, this week I have found so many hermits. They're in every bit of like 2 to 3 inch shells, and they can't retract all the way. I'm trying to say, so if you've check out my Facebook page, this last week alone, I have been finding so many giants. Normally I only see a giant maybe once every 6 months or so. So to see this many giants within like a 1 week time frame is really crazy. I mean, just this morning alone, the guy that he was down there by where we keep our bird seed, he was huge, just huge. What's the best time of year to see wild hermits? Well, so in the video, I had the difference between Indian Key in November. So whenever the Lucky Crab Co., Meredith and Brian came down to visit, we went out to Indian Key. And in November, there were hermit crabs everywhere. Like everywhere. They were in the trees, they were in the bushes, they were in the ground. You could not walk without almost stepping on a hermit crab in Indian Key. And then here we went back, what was that, earlier this year, like April, like 6 months later. It was really hard to find any. And kind of chatting with Mary and stuff like that on the side, I kind of think one of the reasons why is we were thinking either mating season or we were going into the dry season. So there's a time frame here in the Keys where it's more of a dry season. It just doesn't rain. The Keys are not Florida. The Keys are not your typical Florida where everybody goes, oh, we go to the beach. It rains at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, like every single day. Mm-mm. We will go months here in the Keys without rain. And that's what we call the dry season. And when that happens, I think that's probably an opportune time for the hermit crabs. If they're going to molt, that might be the time frame when they're molting. That's just my guess. I mean, I don't know for a fact because, you can't find them, you can't see them, but they're not there. So if they're not there, then where are they? So that's just kind of like my idea as far as where I think they are. Best time of year. So, I do know like around February, March, I'll have them all over in the backyard. Have I ever found a hermit crab carrying eggs? No. Hunter, I haven't. And every time I show somebody Mary's Be the Ocean, when she talks about her hermit crabs waddling, like walking funny, I was just like, ooh, have I ever seen any walking funny? I see them walking, and I always clean them up whenever I get close or something along the line. Some do, some just don't care. But have I ever seen any walking funny? Is that something you guys see too? Is that they're walking funny to give you an indication that they actually have eggs in their shells? I don't know, but that might be, maybe I just need to pay attention to whenever they're walking towards shore as opposed to walking away from shore. That might be my indication. Maybe my advocacy is working. I really hope it is. Honestly, we are reaching so many people down here right now. Is this their natural breeding season? I don't know. What is this, July? Right now, everybody that I'm seeing is coming inland. But I also think that could be part of at the end of our street where the ocean is. They're doing a lot of groundwork. So, there's a lot of really heavy, if you watch one of my videos in the last couple days, you'll hear a lot of like really loud thunk, 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 thunk. Which that could be what's been driving all of the very big guys to come more inland because they're trying to get away from that constant thunking reaction. What was my initial reaction when we first moved to our house and saw? So Valerie, have I not? So here I'll do my short version of our beginning story. When we first moved to the Keys, Brian was traveling a lot, so he wasn't here. And I was taking the trash out and stuff like that. And I walked around the side of the house to take the trash out. I went to put the bag in the trash can. I looked down. I was like, what is that? I was like, oh man, we just moved here. I feel so bad. The owners are gone, because we met the owners beforehand and they were super cool. And there was this ginormous tulip shell, this big, like the size of my foot. I wear a size 8. This tulip shell was right there. And I was like, wow, they left this awesome shell. So I reached down, I picked it up, and I looked, and I was like, someone's living in that shell. Okay. Put that down. All of a sudden I looked, and I was like, there's another. I picked that. Big ones. I picked that tulip shell. I was like, oh, someone's living in that one too. Okay. So I started taking pictures. I was like, hermit crabs. I've never owned a hermit crab. My mom always told me, no, we can't have hermit crabs. I was like, there's hermit crabs, not just little itty teeny tiny marine hermit crabs, like big hermit crabs. And I took pictures. I sent it to my husband. And I was like, Brian, I was like, look at your phone. He calls me. He's like, hey, what's going on? I said, look at your phone. I was like, what? I was like, we have crabs. He's like, don't tell me we have crabs. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, Brian, look at your phone. And he's like, oh, hermit crabs? I was like, yeah, that's what I said. We have crabs. And he's just like, don't tell people that story. I was like, no, but that was my first reaction when we first found out. Wow, that was the first time I saw hermit crabs. And I started doing research online and checking out all the websites, the Facebook pages and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? There's another one. So that's when I actually took a marker and I started marking them. If you haven't had a chance to watch my initial presentation from CrabCon, was that 2020? It is, I go, it's an hour long. This was before Mary said, you only got 20 minutes. It's an hour long. It's worth it. I mean, you can see how I go from one hermit crab to 100, and then I actually had to give up counting them because they were just everywhere. It also walks you through, it wasn't just hermit crabs, but it was finding land crabs and those little Cuban tree crabs. I would all around here. So I was like, listen, we have crustaceans. And that's how we ended up with Crustacean Plantation. Because this area where we live also used to be a pineapple plantation, like a long time ago. So I was like, cool. Do they ever get on your roof? You know what? Oh wait, I think we have a metal roof, but I wouldn't doubt it. There are times when, so like how we have, don't look at the mess. Don't look at the mess. Okay, there. The sunshades over there. So the sunshades have strings that come down and they go to the trees. Well, I have walked out in the backyard before and saw, I just see them everywhere. I looked and I was like, what are you doing? There was one of the big line ropes from where our sunshade is attached to our second story. And this hermit crab was all the way up there. And I'm like, dude, you got up there on a rope. You got to get yourself back down. And I hope you don't fall. I mean, you made it that far. You got to come back down. And I realized what had happened was the rope I had actually had all the way down touching the ground. So I would keep going back out there to see if he made his way down. And sure enough, I saw him back down on the ground again. So I took that rope and I wrapped it up because I was like, that was too high. But you know what? I mean, these guys climb our mahogany trees in the front. I've seen them because the mahogany trees have that really rough bark. So they totally climb that. Let me see. This morning there was some on the back there was one on the back steps. I was walking back there with the dogs and I was like, what are you doing here? I was like, hi. Actually, you know what? It was an HC. I didn't post that picture yet. Yeah, seriously, like we have crabs. That was so funny. Hi, Danielle. Crab lady. You know what? That's funny. Now that we are getting more out in our community, we're doing a lot more outreach events at John Penny Camp. I've been there twice. They love me. Winley Key. I've spoken at a couple chamber events. There are people that are like, hey, you're the crab lady. So I was just like, yeah, that's me. But no, it's funny. Crab Carducci. That is hilarious, Beth. Are we still? Yes, I know. So my house hermits, they're forever going to be house hermits unless I truly, it's probably either going to take me some time or a lot of work. I've only known the hermit crabs that are in the wild. I never had any house hermits until a few months ago. Seeing them in captivity and watching you guys and watching your stories, and seeing how you interact with them, how much you guys take care of them, everything that you're doing with them. I don't know. I think if I had the ability to, I know they follow each other. They follow each other for resources, food, water, shells. A lot of times I will see a big guy with a little guy following him. And I think that is, I mean, it's obviously the guy's shell is too big. And that's what I was kind of explaining to my niece. I said, when you see a big guy like this with another guy following, he's either following the big guy to see if the big guy finds a shell, or maybe he's following them because they're BFFs for resources. I was like, remember how I told you the mom lays the eggs in the ocean and there's thousands of eggs. She goes, so it's not their mom. I said, no, they don't have a family unit like that. I don't know. The guy's in captivity. I know, I think Beth, on the other thing you also said, you felt bad, or it was somebody else that said they felt bad about their hermit crabs in captivity, would never be free. I don't know that they could be. Yeah, people throw wild animals out all the time. They're survivors and they're smart. And you see those escape stories where, and that's a lot of times people will tell me like, oh, I used to have a hermit crab. We got loose in the house. We lived in New Jersey. And then we found him 6 months later in the basement, still alive. We thought this guy was gone. I think I heard one story where they said they found him 2 years later in the house, still alive. So they're resourceful. They will find what they need to find. So if you throw them in the backyard, it's kind of like you're just, I don't know. I think I feel better knowing that I'm taking care of them the best way I know how versus never knowing if I was making a mistake by releasing them. So that's kind of my thought about house hermits versus sending them out into the wild. What impacts have I seen on wild hermit crabs when the hurricane comes through? So we've only had very few hurricanes since we've lived here in 5 years. Hey, Jessica. And I really didn't notice anything. And that's like the same thing with this weather that we're having right now. There's been quite a bit of rain, but I don't think that's the reason why all of the big ones are on the move. But what was interesting, I will say, is the big ones that we saw crossing through in the back. They were all kind of following the same path. They weren't. Yeah, they were all following the same path because we saw the big one that she was holding in her hands. We saw that guy that had big holes in that shell. And then we put him down. He was walking the same path. And there were 2 more really big tulip shells. I didn't take pictures of those. Were kind of going in the same path. And then the other big guy that walked right between my legs, he also was going where they were going. I don't know. They were having their own CrabCon convention. But these were some big guys. So, and Alicia, I mean, I know they talk to each other too. So maybe that's the other thing. And then pressure, which I've had headaches the last couple of days. So I don't know if it's these storms coming through. Maybe that's what they're doing. Yeah, Beth, that was you. Yeah, I know, Bonnie, people release domestic animals and it doesn't end well. So Meredith Haas and I have been talking, and I think what I would like to do, because I just had somebody else reach out to me. She lives in Miami. She wants to bring me her hermit crab. I think I would like to set up obviously outside is outside. I would like to set up, thank you, Leslie, have you seen those outside catteries? Like, it's like the metal cage or whatever with a roof and stuff like that. So you can put your cat in this thing and you can actually kind of walk around. Catio, yes, whatever it's called. Catio, that's it. I think I would like to set something up like that would give them kind of the best of both worlds. So it would give them the inside care, like some type of tang sign. So I'm telling you, Meredith, you got to come down and spend time with me. Some type of outside tanks where they can still have the ground to molt. Obviously, they're able to, they'll enjoy the weather because all the rest of the hermit crabs are enjoying the weather. And then also, whenever people come visit, whether or not it's hermit crab season or not, like I call them people, when hermit crabs come through, at least there will be some that they can visit with. Yeah, I saw the hermit crab patch. She has an enclosure. And then I mean, everything that Holly's doing, and of course Meredith, what she's going to do, that's going to be fantastic. Um, and like one of my, so obviously, um, Crustacean Plantation, it was just kind of something I was doing, Facebook page. It's now a nonprofit, because I really want to get serious about raising funds to, when I say put signs in the keys, if you go to a state park, there's going to be signs there that say, hey, we have wild hermit crabs. These are natives. Don't take the shells. The whole leave the shell, take the memory message. We've done a lot of outreach lately, and now that we're talking and meeting with people, I have all sorts of people reaching out to me that live here in the Keys. They're saying, hey, we were just at Indian Key. Hey, we were just here. We saw you at your workshop. How can we help? So with all of the shells you're donating, not only am I putting them out here, so I mean, obviously, if you look at my beginning story, and a lot of the stuff that I take with me whenever I do my workshops are my old shells that are really broken, but I have the story, I have the videos, I have everything. 6,000 plus shells later, I'm not really seeing a lot of as devastating broken homes as I did 5 years ago. So something's working. And I love that. I think of that whenever I'm telling somebody a story about one of my broken shells. I was like, and I'll talk about it, and I'll show them the pictures, and I'll show them everything. And they're like, oh, that's great. That's horrible. And I was like, yeah, that's horrible. But in my head, I'm like, my guys back there they're pretty well dressed thanks to you guys. But there's hermit crabs in the rest of the Keys that aren't as well dressed. So a lot of these donated shells, I'm putting bags together. I call them shell guardians, safe havens, places where I can take them a bag of 200 shells, and they will send me videos and stuff like that of all these hermit crabs coming in, and just within a 2-day time frame, 200 shells that I placed out will be gone. Just gone. Word gets out, they call each other on their little shell phones. Hey, come over here, get some new houses. And those shells are gone, just gone. I love it. But some of the signs that we're going to send, or that we're going to put up, I was trying to look at some other things or whatever. Some of these signs are going to be expensive. They're going to be, once I get like the final costs on them, they can vary from a couple $1,000s. I'm also going to do like some smaller, like you see, like save the manatee type of things. Watch out for manatee. It's like, why does everyone save the manatee? Can we save the hermit crabs? Hermit crabs have an ecological reason. They are, they're scavengers. They're taking care of the hammocks. They're making sure the area stays clean. It's aerating our soil. It's keeping infestations down by breaking up the decomposition of things that die. I don't think manatees do that, but I'm not against manatees. I'm just saying, let's save the hermit crabs. So those smaller signs, I'm going to do those. What else? Let me see. But I am working with, what? Oh, it's a manatee. I was like, what? JKLOI, I see you, Hunter. You're so great. I saw your talk earlier or yesterday. That was awesome. Yeah, so, so I just got turned down for one grant. I am starting to apply for grants. And I am working with the national parks. So like all of our state parks, I already have agreements from Pennycamp, Dagny, Winley Key, Lignum Vitae, Indian Key. Even Indian Key is like, oh yeah, we'll put a sign up. That's not a problem. So all of those are ways that, these are state parks, and all of these park rangers, every time I go and I give a presentation, these park rangers are just like, I didn't know that. It's fantastic. They are, the park ranger from Long Key, they're just like, this is great. We never knew that we should be paying attention to the hermit crabs and how they're impacted by all of the tourism. Like, they're state park rangers, so they want people to come to the state parks, but this is another wild native animal that helps them take care of our area. Um, what is it? Oh, a manatee. Oh, I can make you a manatee shirt, Hunter. Don't worry about that. We'll take care of that one. So what other kinds of questions do you guys have? Did you guys see the videos where the one I showed in the presentation where it was the marine hermit crab with the land hermit crab? Oh my God. That was, so I posted a picture, just like one picture. It like killed me to not post the whole freaking video because I wanted to share it with the world. But seriously, when I saw that one hermit crab, he was like inside a tulip shell. He was kind of like hiding inside the tulip shell. I was like, what is he doing? Because it wasn't typical hermit crab checking out a shell, like where they sit there and they just turn things over and they stick their little heads in there and they size it up or whatever. It wasn't like that. It was the way he was just like sitting there holding like just looking inside the shell. I was like, something's not right. So that's whenever I went ahead and kind of picked it up, and I was like, something's not right. And then all of a sudden he popped out and I was like, there's a marine hermit crab inside. Oh my God. So I was just sitting at like, it's me, if you can imagine, me on an island where there's like nobody else except for my husband, like watching me from somewhere down away on the beach or whatever. And I'm sitting here squatting down with my little cell phone, just taking a video, just watching this. I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever. Everybody in the world needs to see this. But to see that happen 2 times was fantastic. The first time I was like, oh, did I really interrupt shell jacking between a marine hermit crab and a land hermit crab? Does that happen? But duh, they're on a remote island. It's close to shore. So if there's any shells that wash ashore, then the marine hermit crabs may be like, okay, let me take that. Or a land hermit crab, if they're going to look for a shell, they're going to go towards that water line where you saw that first hermit crab that I showed. You'll see that sitting there, and they got to duke it out. If the marine hermit crab gets the shell first, the marine hermit crab gets the shell first. If the land hermit crab catches the marine hermit crab, I wonder. Obviously, I'm going back to Dove Key because I gotta see that again. I wonder who would win. So I'm gonna poll the audience. Who do you guys think would win, the land or the hermit crab? The land or the what do you call it? Marine hermit crab. Between the two. Oh, LH. I was like, what's LHC? Land hermit crab. Sorry, not the smartest. Yeah, I think the land would too. Mm-hmm. If you guys saw that picture, that marine hermit crab, his legs are really thin. I mean, our guys are a little stockier, I think. But I really think the land. Because both times the land hermit crab was inside the marine hermit crab shells. But of course, if you think about it, the marine is tucking back in there. So he's using all of his little 10 legs to hook himself in there. Gravity means they're probably stronger. Yeah, they got to bulk up. I'm telling you. Oh, that's the Love Wins. It's on there. Did this for our what do you call it? LGBTQ month was last month. That's on there. Oh, I was gonna say I thought that was one that Jeremy had, but no, Jeremy hadn't got my other shirt. Yeah, it's my favorite. I wear it all the time. Love Wins. Yes, Trisha, we'll make sure you get the autism one too. My sister, my nephew, my sister's son is on the spectrum. And she actually is the one that sent me that idea. She saw another picture where I don't remember what animal it was. She was like, you should do a hermit crab with the puzzle piece. And I was like, I can do that. I'll switch that up. So yeah, we'll make sure you get that shirt, Trisha. All right, what other questions? Are beach shops in our area, and are they respectful of hermit crabs? So we do have a lot of beach shops. Not really. Not your typical beach shops like you see at Myrtle Beach or something like that. We do have some shops here, but they don't sell hermit crabs. We do have one pet store here that's up in our area. He has hermit crabs. I gave him the whole, I gave him the flyer for the pet things, and I printed off other educational flyers for him to put beside the hermit crab tank. But I had, what do you call it? When I was looking at them, I was in there twice. I just kind of looked at them the first time, and I saw on the signs, it's like, oh, they need fresh and they need salt. I was like, okay, he's doing that. And they need certain care. And I was like, okay, he has that on there. I didn't want to, not that I was going to braid him, but I didn't want to like quiz him too hard. He's been a resident in the Florida Keys for a long time, which doesn't mean anything because even people that live here a long time really don't know as much about hermit crabs as they thought they did. But later I went back in there and, I noticed because everybody was talking about Ecuadorians. So I went back in there and I looked and I was like, those are E's. So even down here, even it said they even had a little sticker on the side. It said Pacific hermit crabs or something along that line. But I had another local lady, she posted that she had relatives visit who took her kids to our pet store. When I say our pet store, the pet store here in the Keys. And she's like, now I have, their aunt and uncle just bought them 2 hermit crabs. Now I have these 2 hermit crabs. What should I do? Should I just, give them up? Should I, just put them outside or what? She's like, I want to try taking care of them, but I don't know what to do. And, a friend of a friend tagged me with her and got me in contact. And I was like, no, you can't release those hermit crabs out in the wild. Those are Ecuadorians. We have purple pinchers here. Don't do that. If you don't think that you can take care of them, let me know and I'll take them and I'll find something to do with them. Let's see. Ask me about my hermit crab shirt. I can do that. And Xander, I can make sure there's shirts on there for kids too. Just reach out to me on Facebook or something like that and let me know if you see a size or a style that you're interested in, and I'll make sure there's a kid one. And doggy bandanas. Oh, Martha went outside. I was going to show Martha to you guys. I know you guys have been keeping a really tight schedule, so we only have 2 minutes. Oh, fundraiser idea. While me and Meredith supervise. Allison, you got to get your butt down here too, girl. Get away from that Canadian area. Let me see. That's a good idea. And you know what, Kim? Yes, Eagle Scout Project. We have, our Boy Scouts down here are pretty strong. You're welcome, Alicia. That would be interesting. Talk to me more. I'll have to Google more about that Allison Rhodes Scholarship. I think that would be good. Like, honestly, everything, I need help with grants. I need help with how to get research people down here. So, I mean, I can house 2-3 people downstairs if they wanted to come down and do like part of their college, what do you call it? If they're working on a paper or something along that line. I've offered this up to Dr. Tudge. But if you guys know of somebody else that's studying in the college or something along that line, or they want to do an internship or something, please, yeah, I'm open to the idea. I mean, we have wild hermit crabs back here that you can sit and study on a daily basis. I have a full-time job then I get the privilege of being able to watch them. But there's so much more studies that we can do just watching, and I can't remember her name and I apologize, watching that other lady's presentation on all the studies that she found. And a lot of them are old and a lot of them are done like inside labs and all sorts of stuff like that. Like, I would really love to know how far they travel. Do they travel together? Is there, the more I know about stuff like that, I think the more that would give us an indication as far as whether or not either A, we could release them back into the wild. I'd like to know whether or not my theories are correct that they migrate. I I know for a fact that some of these same hermit crabs come through here year after year. I can't tell you how many shells I'm finding right now. The Sandy S, I can never say her last name. I just saw another one of her shells. Obviously, Allison, I just saw another one of yours. TLC, the lucky crab. These are all shells that I put out this time last year that are coming back through again. These guys migrate. There's so much we can learn about them if only we had the people to do the studies. If only we had some type of college program, some type of whatever. I don't know, but I can't wait to see what we can try. I know 401. I'm not sure if there's another presentation everybody needs to jump to. I know you guys, like I said, I know you guys have been pretty strict schedule. But thank you guys so much for joining today. This has been absolutely amazing. As always, please reach out to me. I am more than glad to get ideas, fundraising ideas. I think once I have Regina, like your son's a biology major, if he wants to specialize in hermit crabs, or if he's working on migratory animals, whatever it is, I would love to see what we can do to partner with people. So thank you guys very much. I know a lot of people are jumping. Mwah.